Hello friends, Namaskar. I am just a normal person having had no experience of making any vlog, something like that, but I could not control myself after visiting a great site called Ajanta cave in India. It is just 24th November of 2023, just 1 month before. I had been to the place having a latitude of 20.5519 degree north and longitude of 75.7033 degree east. Northern part of Maharashtra and the northernmost part of the Western Ghat mountain range. There lies the great Ajanta caves, which was built years, 900 long years. It was built gradually since 200 BC, more or less 200 BC, up to say 7th century. 7th century, yes. So it comes about 900 years. The oldest being cave number 10, that I'll come later on. I'll just show you. This was the geographical location. The next slide you see, this is the Ajanta caves, one of the site. And it is a small part in the mountain range where the mountain took a turn, like a U-turn, horseshoe-like things. And there is a river down below here. The river is flowing. There is a bridge. River is flowing. Bhagauda River. This is called Bhagauda River. This is the caves made in the mountain hills, a solid rock. And when it was built, when the India was under rule of Emperor Ashoka, the Buddhist era. India has a great history, some imaginable, something imagination, something practical. So I am talking about the practical, where the evidence is available. That is Buddhist era of India. We had a very long history. Buddhism, when the Buddhism prevailed in all over India, especially in the northern part, even in the eastern part, and Jainism in the southern part. So Buddhism and Jainism was very much there in India, and during those period we had great structure, and the spiritual journey of India also had a significant period during this Buddhism period. Before that so-called Vedic period, all those Mahabharata, Ramayana, even older, but we don't have that strong physical evidence. I'm sorry to say that. But here, this Buddhism part, this is the Ajanta caves. I'll just show you. This is the view from Ajanta. This is a drone view, so it's from the top. This is the terrain. You see the caves. Here is the trench. Heavy trench is flowing down like this, and the horseshoe-like thing, horseshoe-like shape, and the cave starts from here, numbering. And during this entire stretch, there are 30, as long as 30 caves were built, and the rocks were scooped out. The rocks were scooped out from place to place, and the caves were built accordingly. The first out of this, there are almost 30 caves there in this entire stretch, and the first was somewhere here. Here it is a cave number 8 somewhere here, and here it is number 10. There it is. Here the oldest cave is here, number 10. This is the cave, oldest. So it was built 200 BC period, first cave. So, however, the caves are numbered from this side, and it goes on like this 30. Now the caves were not in the same size, same purpose. Some are called Chaityas, some are called Bihars or Sangaram. Out of 30 caves, there are 5 Chaityas. Cave number 9, here it is, cave number 9, 10, then 19, 20 and 29 here. These are all Chaityas. Chaityas means the meditation hall. The Buddhist shamans, the Buddhist monks, they always try to find some isolated place. You may observe there are so many gumpas, so many biharas of the Buddhist, not only in India but in Nepal, in Tibet, in China, in Sri Lanka, they always preferred very desolated places and very difficult to move, difficult to reach. In those places they chose upon. Here, this Ajanta cave is one of that. When it was built, it was extremely unreachable place, and the Buddhist monks, they found this place and they made it for their silent journey, the silent prayer. All these caves and biharas, there are 25 biharas. Biharas or Sangharam, that is a larger space, because they used to stay there. Even they had the idols, the Buddha's idols are there. So let me move. This is from the down below. When I was coming out from the ground, I took the snap. Standing over the river, Bhagoda river. Anyhow, let us move. Here it is. Before I started from the cave number 1, just before entering the cave number 1, there is a block behind. I took this snap. The next one, here I have entered in cave number 1. The paintings. What is the uniqueness of Ajanta caves? I was talking about Ajanta cave. Why it's so? Because it has magnificent cave painting over the cave walls. They scooped out the stone, made the caves, then they made canvas on the rock surface, and they painted the so-called fresco painting, or those organic colors, beautiful colors. 1,000 years, 2,000, 2,500 years before, 2,000 years before, 1,500 years before. It took 900 years, I said. So these paintings, it is not simple painting or something rough work, rough art, or I'll say uncultured, unprofessional drawing. It's not that. Every painting was perfect, beautiful, and that is what it was so fascinating. It is still so fascinating, whatever is left over now, after spending so much of time and torture by the public, intentionally or unintentionally. This is cave number 1. I'll show you certain portion, then I'll explain. Here it is. This is a figure. You see, there is a painting. This painting, the stories are actually scripted of Lord Buddha's earlier lives, story of earlier lives. That's called Jataka story. Jataka, story of Jatak. The Buddhists strongly believed, they still believe the incarnation system, and they believed that Lord Buddha, the life before as Buddha, as Siddhartha, took birth in many forms. Here it is one of his life. Lord Buddha was known as Mahajanak. This Mahajanak had a great story. His father was lost. His father was killed by his relative, relatives, close relatives, other kings, and this Mahajanak, when he was a child, to a desolated places and brought him up. And this Mahajanak, he came to his old city where he was born, and it was his kingdom. And this Mahajanak, see this in this figure, the Mahajanak is here, and here is the queen, the princess Sibli. The story behind is this: the Sibli is the princess of the palace, and Mahajanak got married with her after so much of struggle and story, which Mahajanak's mother was not knowing. This Sibli, this is a picture, no, it is a second episode actually. The first picture I'll show you, here it is. Here you see the same Sibli here. Here is the same Sibli here, when she was close to Mahajanak here, very close, and passionate moment, and the Shakis are all around here, but they never knew, Mahajanak never knew, or Sibli never knew, they are actually half brother. Their relation was half brother and sister. They are from the same father but different mother, but they are not knowing. They got married. Sibli is the most beautiful and very magnificent and extremely talented, intelligent princess who refused many princes to marry because her questions were to be answered. And this Mahajanak came as a beggar in that city, and he incidentally conquered her Sibley's mind, and they got married. When Mahajanak's mother came to know, he spoiled everything, he spoiled the show. So, and finally you see the tragic end. The tragic end was that the marriage was dissolved, and here it is. Sibley was a bit away. Mahajanak is here, taken a pose before exiting from the palace. This sketch, this hand sketch, was made in the year 1965. These, after visiting these Ajanta caves, one of my very senior, very respected figure, Mr. Narayan Sennal, he wrote in his book. I got that book, Aparupa Ajanta. From there I got this sketch. And what he saw during 1965, this Ajanta caves, he just drew a handwritten sketch. And there are many painters who were made to draw this. I'll just tell you, these caves, actually it was lying inside the jungle, inside that difficult terrain for 1,000 years. Nobody knew it. Nobody knew. Because after the Buddhism era, the Buddhist monk, they just left that place. They just left that place and moved from there. And they did not even protect the cave's mouths by putting any stone or like that. It was simply left open. And they just moved out of the place. And that history is very silent. Why they moved? Who chased them away? Was it after 1000 year AD when the Islam came here, or because of the Hindu resurrection of the Hinduism? We don't know the history, and there's not much spoken about. But it was lying inside the jungle, inside that difficult terrain, and the British came in India. As you know, India was British colony, and a group of soldiers living their camp, they just moved around. When they saw these peculiar things, here it is, they saw it like this. So the soldier then trekked the mountain and reached up to this place, and they found this treasure. This full of the caves and full of painting, with colorful painting, then sculptures. So they went back to their camp and spoken about this. Then after it was in 1817, way back in 1817 AD. 1817 the cave was found by the modern world, by the British soldiers, and they were just soldiers. They were not very important or influential person, but they spoke about it in the camp. Nobody bothered. Then finally the people started going there, some villagers like that. Then the British authority came to know, and they took it seriously in the year 1829. And that Mr. James Ferguson, to name it James Ferguson, in 1844, he made Mr. Major Robert Gill to visit that place. And Major Robert Gill was himself as a good painter. So he took 20 years, can you believe it, 20 years to make 30 big canvas oil painting copied from this Ajanta caves, walls of the different caves, and sent it to the Sydenham Crystal Palace in London. But unfortunately, in the year 1866, there was a fire, and 25 of those invaluable paintings got burnt. Only 5 were left with, which is still available in Kensington Museum in London. You can still see that, all those 5 original paintings of Robert Gill. And the time went by. Then once again George Griffiths, he also visited the site 1875, and he managed to draw the paintings of 335 total painting in 1885, and that was also sent to London. But once again, it's a very coincidental matter. Once again, it got fired. There was a huge fire, and only 56 were left. And those 56 invaluable paintings still available in Victoria and Albert Museum in London, still as on today. So, what is the uniqueness of those paintings? It is depicting the Mahajatakas or the Sangrams or the different life of Lord Buddha and other stories. It's a dramatic presentation by painting. Here it is. What I was telling you, you see the painting, the hand sketch by seeing the painting was made by Mr. Naran Chandal, and what I have seen now, here it is. This I saw in 24th November 2023, which was the portion is highlighted here. Here it is, this portion. This Mahajanaka and the Princess Sibley here. When they were close by, Mahajanaka and Sibley, once again, here it is. The printing in 1965 it was available like this, and in 23 I got this. Here it is. The face of Princess Sibley is damaged here. There's a very minute details, lot of details in those paintings, and all are perfectly made. And what is the uniqueness of those artists? Unknown, unnamed artists of the Buddhist monks. They are so great artists, much before Picasso, much before Michelangelo, much before Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Picasso, they are the oldest painting master of this modern world. But before them, the name what I uttered, Angelo or Picasso, or before that, much before that, the great Indian painting from this Indian land, nobody knows the name. They were so silently, they are so talented, they are so dedicated, they painted it perfectly. All those stories. This is quite scintillating. This is a drama, no? And here is the horse. The Mahajanak was leaving the palace. Mahajanak was leaving the palace in a pathos mood. So, one after another, the different from the cave, the other side, the right hand side, it has gone like this, a movement like this. These are the pillars. You see the thousands years old pillars. The other caves, the cave number 4 probably. And here was certain pillars with every pillar, every painting has a history behind it. See the designs here. And one must know that this is 1,000-year-old painting. You see the designs here. This design is so modern even now, and which was drawn 1,000 years before, 2,000 years before. You see the finishing here. So isn't that wonder? This is the cave number 10 actually. This is cave number 10. This is cave number 10, the oldest one here. You see that sculpture, beautiful. Even today it is very tidy, neat and clean. The invaders, those who are famous for breaking the ancient statues, they couldn't destroy the things, they couldn't reach here, otherwise this also would have lost it. This is taken, the snap is 24th November 2023. Here I am. I feel this is one of the sculpture. You see, the sculpturist had a mind of making this kind of sculpture. You may observe, you may think, you may imagine what was going on in their mind even 1,000 years before. We had the persons like this. making the sculpture. I was totally mismatched in the place. I'm not an artist at all. I wish I would have been accompanied by some other expert with me, and I'm planning to visit again with the team of expert if they consider me to accompany them. And when I was just at the this snap I took from cave number 19 probably. Looking back, I just came from cave number 1 from here started, and like this I moved. This is from the terrace and reached up to here. So looking back the path, then I will once again go back, and down below from cave number 8, that is the exit. There is a bridge over the river other side, then walk out. So this is from when I was coming out. This is cave number 26. This is cave number 26. Cave number 26 is, there is one more Jataka story that is called Vishwantar, when Lord Buddha was named Vishwantar. Here it is, I'll just show you. Here it is, Vishwantar and Queen Madri. They were sitting over a palanque here. So each and every painting has a story. They are depicting a story. So along with the story, the artist had to draw these paintings as per the story, as per the content of the story. And so beautifully the artist made. The artist means those Buddhist monks. Some are expert, unnamed, unknown to this world. That's what is the wonder of this Ajanta cave. Ajanta caves was very much in the 7th wonder. It was, in fact, it is the so-called 7th wonder of the world did not include this Ajanta caves because it was not complete at that point of time, probably. But everyone knows in the artistic world, everyone knows about Ajanta caves, and this is the greatest wonder of India. This is the sketch of Mr. Narayan Chandal in 1965. He drew in the handwritten sketch, and here it is. What I said, that character is Vishwantar. This is a Vishwantar and this Madri. So this was available in 1965. This was a hand sketch, and which I found in 1923. This is 2023 here, 24th November. Is this? Here it is. Here it is. So it was mesmerizing. All my tour over the Ajanta caves, it was just mesmerizing. As not being expert on art and culture, whatever I saw, whatever I felt, I just shared with you. And I hope some of you may get attracted and visit Ajanta. I have no commercial interest whatsoever. I just want to share my Indian past Indian culture during Buddhist era. And that's the point I made this video. Thank you so much. লক্ষ্য বছর ধরে যে পাহাড়, নিশ্চুপ পাহাড়, না অনেকেই বেশিরভাগই যারা শিল্পরসিক তারা বুঝতে পারছেন যে আমি এখন কোথায় দাঁড়িয়ে আছি। আর কোথাও নয়, ভারতবর্ষের মহারাষ্ট্রে সেই বিখ্যাত, পৃথিবী বিখ্যাত অজন্তা কেভস। Number 9. Approaching to this is number 10. Number 10 cave is the oldest among all the caves in Ajanta. কোথাও পিছনে 16 নম্বর কেভ সমস্ত খোঁজ নিয়েছে। এখন 17 19, the cave number 19, one of the important cave. 19 নম্বর cave. এটা বাইরেটা এখন অক্ষত। Is the first site of Ellora caves. I am inside Ellora caves. The hill is cut and everything is it was of one stone. It is just scooped out. The rest of the stone scooped out and left over has been given shape, design. A huge, gigantic task. Pillar, you see, it is something challenging the Egyptian dominance. The elephants, they were carrying. It's a huge, gigantic view. These are all of one stone. Can you believe it? One stone. Then